Well, for a start, the only time that I've come back to the UK is sadly for funerals or court cases, with the odd charitable function.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Pour yourselves something strong because today we're diving into what might be the most catastrophic royal humiliation I've seen in years. The walls are closing in on Prince Harry from every direction, and this time, there's no palace to protect him, no sympathetic media to spin his story, and absolutely no celebrity friends rushing to his defense. What we're witnessing is nothing short of the complete unraveling of a prince who once thought he could have it all, the royal prestige without the royal duty. Now, I know you guys are excited for more, but before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on, guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, UK Parliament has officially unveiled the removal of titles bill, and make no mistake, they're naming Harry directly as the target. This isn't some vague threat or tabloid speculation anymore. This is actual legislation designed specifically to strip him of his Duke of Sussex title. And as if that gut punch weren't devastating enough, HM Revenue and Customs has dropped a financial bombshell on his doorstep, an 800,000 tax bill due in just 3 days. The irony is absolutely brutal. The man who once bragged about breaking free from royal duty is now learning the harshest lesson possible. That freedom comes with a price tag, and the UK is demanding he pay it, both literally and figuratively. For months, the threat of Harry losing his titles was dismissed as royal gossip, the kind of story that makes headlines but never materializes. But now it's terrifyingly real. UK members of parliament have officially introduced legislation that would not only strip Harry of his dukedom, but also prevent him from cashing in on his royal status. And don't think for a second this is just symbolic. This is a legal framework designed to erase Harry's last thread of royal identity. What makes this different from past rumors is that MPs aren't hiding behind diplomatic language or generalities. They are calling Harry out by name in parliamentary debate. One senior lawmaker declared it bluntly: "You cannot abandon duty, attack the monarchy, and profit off your title abroad. That is not service, that is exploitation." For Harry to be called out on the floor of the House of Commons is nothing short of a public flogging, a stark reminder that his reputation in Britain is beyond repair. While Parliament was debating his titles, HMRC dropped a financial hammer that must have Harry sweating in his Montecito mansion. He owes approximately $800,000 in back taxes tied to his UK assets and earnings. The humiliation isn't just the amount, it's the deadline. He has just 3 days to pay or risk asset seizure and legal action in Britain. For a man who once lived in royal palaces with an army of advisors managing his affairs, being chased by the taxman like an ordinary debtor must be the ultimate come down. The message from the UK lawmakers and tax officials couldn't be clearer. If Harry wants to live as a private citizen, he must face the same obligations as anyone. No special treatment, no royal immunity, just the same rules every ordinary Brit faces. In other words, Harry wanted independence, and now he's got it, all in its brutal, unforgiving reality. The timing of this couldn't possibly be worse for the Sussexes. Netflix has already scaled back its $100 million deal with them after disappointing returns on their content. Archwell's finances are under increasing scrutiny from both sides of the Atlantic, and now Harry suddenly needs $800,000 in liquid cash within days? For Hollywood investors watching from the sidelines, this is a flashing red warning light. The Sussexes aren't stable, they're desperate, they're bleeding money, and Harry's royal brand, the only thing that ever made him marketable in the first place, is at risk of vanishing with a single parliamentary vote. If Harry thought the British public would rally behind him in this crisis, the polls tell a devastatingly different story. Recent surveys in the UK show overwhelming support, more than 70% of Britons backing Parliament's move to strip his titles and enforce his tax payments. Social media has only amplified the humiliation. Hashtags like hashtag not a duke and hashtag pay your taxes and hashtag Sussex scam have trended for days. Twitter users are mercilessly mocking him with memes of eviction notices slapped on Buckingham Palace, while others cruelly suggest Meghan could launch another overpriced jam jar to cover the bill. The verdict is crystal clear. In the court of public opinion, Harry is not a victim, he's a punchline. Perhaps most telling of all is the deafening silence from Meghan Markle. Normally quick to position herself as Harry's savior or partner in crisis, Meghan has carefully avoided making any public comment on these developments. Royal analysts say this is no accident. She doesn't want to be dragged into her husband's financial mess, especially not with her as ever brand already collapsing under debt rumors and marketplace indifference. The image of the Sussex power couple that they've worked so hard to cultivate has crumbled spectacularly. Behind the glossy California facade, insiders suggest Meghan is strategically distancing herself, leaving Harry to fight this humiliation alone. For a man who abandoned his entire family, his country, and his royal birthright to stand by her side, this silence reads as more than strategic. It reads as betrayal. Back in the day, crises like this would have been quietly resolved with palace lawyers or discreet royal accounting. The royal machine would have sprung into action, protecting Harry from public embarrassment. But not this time. Sources close to Buckingham Palace confirm that King Charles and Prince William will not step in to save him. One insider quipped, "He wanted freedom, he has it, along with the bills, the responsibilities, and the consequences." The monarchy has drawn a firm line in the sand. Harry is no longer their responsibility, no longer their problem to solve, and with Parliament and HMRC directly involved, not even royal influence could stop this humiliation now, even if they wanted to, which they clearly don't. Now, here's the truly nightmarish scenario that royal insiders are whispering about. This $800,000 tax bill might just be the beginning. Sources suggest that regulators are eyeing Archwell Foundation finances, Netflix royalties, and even lavish expenses tied to the Montecito mansion. If auditors dig deeper, and they have every motivation to do so, Harry could face millions more in liabilities. And Hollywood knows it. Investors and executives don't like instability, and Harry's financial panic reeks of desperation. Suddenly, he looks less like a global figure and more like an overextended celebrity clinging to a crumbling brand. The golden couple that was supposed to conquer America is starting to look like a liability to anyone considering a business partnership. This moment is catastrophic for Harry because it strikes at both pillars of his post royal identity, his title and his wealth. Stripped of the Duke of Sussex title, he becomes just Harry, a man who traded royal duty for Netflix cameras. Stripped of financial security, he becomes a liability. A husband in debt, a father under scrutiny, and a prince with no crown to fall back on. The irony is almost too painful to watch. Harry left the monarchy to live free, to escape what he described as a toxic institution that threatened his mental health and his family's safety. But now he's less free than ever, shackled by bills, mocked by Parliament, and abandoned by both the palace and, it seems, by Meghan. His carefully constructed identity is collapsing, and the world is watching it happen in real time. This is more than just a financial dispute or a political debate about titles. This is a reckoning, a moment of truth for a man who has spent years blaming everyone but himself for his problems. Parliament is stripping him of the privilege he abused. The UK tax office is forcing him to pay like any other citizen. The public is mocking him relentlessly. Meghan is conspicuously silent. The palace has washed its hands of him. Prince Harry wanted independence. What he got was humiliation. The psychological toll must be immense. Harry has spent the last few years positioning himself as the victim of the palace, of the press, of his family. He's written books, given interviews, and produced documentaries all centered around this narrative of persecution. But now, with Parliament moving against him and HMRC demanding cash, he can't hide behind those excuses anymore. The system is treating him exactly like what he claims to be, a private citizen. No more shields, no more royal cushions, just responsibility, debt, and deadlines. Here's another layer of irony that makes this situation even more tragic. Harry spent years criticizing the monarchy only to cling desperately to the Duke of Sussex title for his Hollywood brand. He declared independence from Britain, only to find out that Britain hasn't declared independence from him. The country still wants him to pay up. He ran from duty, only to discover that duty always comes back one way or another. Even worse, this moment strips away the last illusion of control. He doesn't have the palace to protect him. Meghan hasn't spoken a word in his defense. Hollywood is watching from a safe distance, and the public, they're laughing, pointing, and demanding more. For Harry, this isn't just a financial squeeze or a political embarrassment, it's a psychological defeat of the highest order. He's being cornered and humiliated in a way no royal modern memory has ever experienced. The rebel prince, once celebrated for his charm and military service, has become a cautionary tale about the dangers of entitlement and ingratitude. What makes the situation particularly painful to watch is remembering who Harry once was. This was the prince who served on the front lines in Afghanistan, who created the Invictus Games for wounded veterans, who once connected so naturally with people from all walks of life. That Harry, the one who seemed genuine, compassionate, and grounded despite his privilege, has been replaced by a man who appears increasingly bitter, isolated, and out of touch. Many royal watchers trace this transformation back to his relationship with Meghan, but the truth is likely more complex. Harry's resentments and frustrations with royal life predicted her arrival. What Meghan perhaps provided was not the cause but the catalyst, the justification and support he needed to break away. The problem that breaking away hasn't brought him the peace or freedom he so clearly craved. Instead, he found himself in a gilded cage of his own making. The Montecito mansion might be larger and sunnier than his royal apartments, but it's still a prison of sorts. One built from Netflix obligations, public expectations, financial pressures, and the constant need to remain relevant in a culture that quickly tires of yesterday's celebrity. The question now is whether there's any way back for Harry. Most royal experts believe that bridge has been thoroughly burned. The publication of Spare, with its intimate family relations and bitter accusations, crossed a line that the royal family considers unforgivable. King Charles may love his son, but the monarchy is an institution that prioritizes its own survival above individual happiness. What seems increasingly likely is that Harry will be left to face the consequences of his choices alone. If Parliament goes through and strips him of his title, if the tax bill leads to legal action or asset seizures, if Hollywood continues to cool on the Sussex brand, Harry will have to confront a reality he's never had to face before: failure without a safety net. For a man who has spent his entire life protected by his position, this is perhaps the cruelest punishment of all. Not the loss of money or titles, but the loss of relevance, the realization that the world is perfectly capable of moving on without him. As the removal of titles bill moves forward and the tax deadline approaches, one question remains: what's left of Harry once the crown, the cash, and the credibility are gone? The answer might be the most frightening prospect of all for a prince who once had everything. Just an ordinary man with extraordinary debts, both financially and morally. What do you think about the Parliament's move to strip Harry of his titles? Should he be forced to pay every cent of that $800,000 tax bill without exception? Or is there still a cease for mercy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more royal insights. This story is still developing, and you know I'll be right here keeping you updated on every twist and turn. Until next time, thanks for watching. Ta ta, and bye for now.